practice. Before I go to a couple of techniques, I just want to share that this is something like the example which in philosophy from India, which is called non-duality, talks about an example which is given pretty often, and that is the snake and the rope. So say you are taking a walk down the street and you see a house, and in the front yard, what you see is a snake and you get scared. But when you shine the light of awareness on it, you realize, oh, it's just a rope. Nothing to be scared of that. In the sense that an uncomfortable thought, when you're actually in that place of feeling discomfort, or feeling scared, or feeling anger, you may feel that this is where it is, and this is so in your face, in that sense, so overwhelming, or it could be frustrating, it could be irritating in that sense. And this is not to say that you're not justified in what you're feeling. If you tell 10 people in the world, they'll all agree with you that yes, what you're feeling, if we were in your shoes, we would have also felt the same. So you are right, but you are not feeling the relief that you want to feel. And for that relief to come in, it's important to see beyond the illusion. Like for in Dali's painting that we saw, that at first it looks like this, but when you look closely, it's something else. It's like the snake and rope example. It looks like a snake, but when you look closely, it's a rope. When you look at that uncomfortable thought, it looks overwhelming. But when you look closely, then something very magical starts to happen. And that is when you look closely, not by getting involved, not by thinking the thought, but just being aware of the thought. Like that anger, 99% and 1% example, that you're not thinking that anger, but you're aware of that anger. That's how you know that experience. That 1% awareness is what we are practicing. And one of the most beautiful techniques, of course, is if breath is the object of your meditation. Saint Avila of Teresa, Saint Teresa of Avila says very beautifully that follow the breath and it will take you to the place of refuge deep within. What does she mean is that as you follow your breath, slowly, slowly, one is, of course, the breath tends to calm you down. But one more beautiful thing which tends to happen is that if you see that the breath is also ever changing, it's coming and going, coming and going. And if you tend to hold on to the breath, thinking that, "Oh, I don't know whether the next one's going to come or not, I'm scared, maybe the next breath doesn't come," after some time, you'll have to let it go. And then only you will feel comfortable. So it comes and it goes. Comes and it goes. So it reminds us of the impermanence of all these objects, whether it is to do with the emotions in our mind, our thoughts, our feelings, our sensations in our bodies, even outside, the objects outside, even with people. People also not the same all the time. If on one point they're feeling love, sometimes they are feeling sadness, sometimes they're feeling angry, some other emotion. If you look at seasons, seasons are ever changing. If you look at other things in life, in fact, even if you take it beyond, now, of course, the physicists and the scientists and the cosmologists also tell us that the universe is ever expanding. So it's ever changing, impermanent, transient, what you hold on to in that sense. But that awareness, which is making you know that experience, that is the same in all of these, So that awareness is what is our diamond. That is the awareness which the musk deer, for him, it's the fragrance. That's our fragrance, and that's inside. And like the breath is one way. Of course, there are many other ways of meditating. The breath is a beautiful object of meditation, and one can look at that. But any way in which you can come to know. One more technique that I want to share with you before we go on to something which can be extremely empowering for us to know when we are in a place of uh, feeling uncomfortable about something and we want relief. But before we come to that, I just want to share one more technique with you. So, one was the breath as an object of meditation or any meditation which helps you know the impermanence of it all. As in the school of emptiness, they say, anityam, anityam, sarvam anityam, shanikam, shanikam, sarvam shanikam, shunyam, shunyam, sarvam shunyam. That means it's all impermanent, impermanent, momentary, momentary, empty, empty in that sense. So again, referring to that same momentariness of all these objects, right? But we are looking at that 1%, that 1%, that pure awareness. In that sense, when I say the word pure, I want it to mean that without the objects, that 99% and 1% that I'm referring to. Yeah. So one more technique. This is from the Tibetan Book of the Dead. So some of you may have heard of this. Those who haven't may like to read it at some point. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. So this particular technique is from there. And to lead you through that, if you are open to this, it's just a 5-minute technique. I would request you to be in a comfortable posture and just make, you can have your your head and your back in a straight line in a comfortable way. You can either lie down or you could sit upright on a chair, whatever is comfortable to you, and take a few deep breaths just to calm yourself down. And now observe something. It can be anything, an object, a person, your own body, or nature. As you observe your subject, ask yourself if there is anything about this object that is impermanent. Can you find anything about this object that is not subject to change over time? If your answer to the last question is no, then look more deeply. Nothing we can experience through our thoughts or 5 senses is free from change. And now, if you feel ready, gently come back to this podcast, to the room that you are in. So, as we look into the nature of things, we realize that everything is impermanent, transient, ever changing. And therefore, for us to remind ourselves when in a place of discomfort that this too shall pass. And therefore, we can get the strength that we are looking at, right? So here's wishing you more strength in your journey, especially as you navigate through something which could be uncomfortable, painful for you. Suggestion would be to do it as per your own beautiful and unique path of least resistance. If something is very uncomfortable, you can always take a break. You can always distract yourself to something which is easy to appreciate, easy to feel good through. And as and when you are ready, you can observe it from a place where you're not thinking the thought, but aware of the thought. If you have any questions, feel free to write in to us at info@connectmeditation.com, or you can also write in to me at sonal@connectmeditation.com. I would love to hear from you. And here's wishing you all a beautiful, beautiful time as you go through this particular exercise or many such exercises like this. It's such a beautiful way of discovering yourself, your journey, your unique and beautiful journey. So lots of love and happiness. Thank you so much once again for your presence in this particular podcast. Wishing you a beautiful day or night, whichever part of the day or night you are in as you're viewing this. Thank you so much for your presence once again.